Hi guys, welcome to earnings season, another week of earnings season. I'm Randy Rowe at RT Rowe on Twitter
And I'm Danai at the H Danai on Twitter.
with a heavy pause. You got that one from Justin Trudeau. This week, as always, we're doing a little bit of looking at the market. And I think we told you the last episode that we were going back to the market review. We haven't forgotten, but we have a lot of interesting people that we would want to share, experience that we want to share with you. And this one, I couldn't make the chance pass without interviewing our current guest. So it's a guest episode again. But before we jump to the guest, I'm going to give you just a little bit of anticipation because we will touch on the market because we haven't spoken about the market for a while. So then what's up on the market this week or since last time we've spoken, the last time we've spoken?
News and numbers. Some numbers have come out since we've spoken. And
Yeah.
some more news. Well, yeah, more news. Definitely more news. Important news. I would think Grace. But two parts of Grace thing. So the first part isn't news per se. It's been out. We haven't mentioned it. What Grace is
What's that?
up
Aha. So GK included a lockup
in their dividend.
clause.
Yes, in their dividend declaration, they mentioned that they were asking the registrar to close the shareholder list for a certain period. It started on the 29th and will end on. Then I goes for the notes.
Right. For a bunch of guys just talking off the top of our heads, we really do seem to use a lot of references.
Yeah, so it's in there. Interim dividend payable paid on the 15th of June to stockholders on record at the close of business on the 29th of May 2020, and the company's register of members be closed from the close of business on the 29th of May 2020 to the close of business on the 5th of June 2020. That's an interesting bit. This is the second time I have noticed that they've had this bit on their dividend declaration. The previous dividend also had this close of the company's register of members. So it's interesting, and I think it's something to look at. It's instructive for moves GK is making right now.
Yeah, it's more. It's one of those things that we look out for. So it could. You know what? Let me tell the people so that I don't think it's too secretive. It could be absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
It could be just us looking for the lie that we want to believe, or it could be an indication of something else.
Yeah.
In future.
And what reason would a company have to close its register of members at this time? Just generally
for a dividend payment, as they said.
For a dividend payment. So is it that they're doing it for a dividend payment, or something happening within that period why they would say, okay, close it for now?
Exactly. People have been to grow hear me say all the time that I have this saying, this rule of thumb. And I hear it for years now. Companies lie, CEOs lie, in air quotes. But obviously, the numbers or results don't. I say lie because they can't lie to you. I think I've also said it on this. So they can't lie to you legally because they're listed companies, but they can say things to make things sound like something else, and they can also not say certain things until they absolutely have to. And oftentimes they might be holding off on saying something because they know they're not ready yet, it's not part of the plan, blah blah blah. Exactly.
Omission,
but
line by omission is only real for you and your girlfriend.
Wow. That I still put it out that fire, boy. All right. So not just lie by omission, but it's funny because they might, so they are omitting something, but they're acting, and because they have a fiduciary responsibility in how they act, they have to tell us certain things. So imagine that, right? It's like, well, since then I carried a relationship, you and your partner live and you plan to leave, right? But you can't tell them, say you plan to leave. So you start pack. Every time them see you putting, every time you leave the house, you put something in a bag. You leave. What you leave with this bag for? You're not going to tell them why you're leaving with the bag yet. Maybe you don't say anything or you move past it. But the actual act is you leaving with the bag. Same way, maybe GK is doing something or planning something, and they don't want to tell us what it is yet. They don't want to come out yet, but they have to prepare themselves in certain ways. And this might be one example of them preparing themselves in a certain way, them freezing the register. So when you see that immediately, you go, where you put another bag there? or you I'll drop this there, which just seemed to me to be common sense. You just go and check to see. Okay, they say that, what was the actual wording? You say you don't have to read the whole thing, or what them say? Was that dividend? Them say they freeze it for dividend.
No, I did not say that.
What did they say? What was the actual freezing for?
They did not tell us why. They didn't give a reason for the freezing. So, as advised on May 14, the board passed the following resolutions: pay a dividend on May 20, for people on record at May 29, have a closing register from the close of business on May 29.
Nah, man. They said that. I remember a reason. I working
Right?
from memory here, but
I'm
yeah.
looking at it.
No, not the second notice. Not that second notice. The very first one.
Very first. Okay, we'll find the very first
Yeah.
notice. Declares a dividend and AGM that the company will
Hmm.
be closed from the close of business of 16th of March 2020 to 23rd of March 2020.
Hmm. And they don't say why they're either.
No, it's not.
That's even more suspicious. What is in that bag? Ah, wow. I feel like I read a reason in something, but it might have been in the financials. It don't matter. The point is that this is what we do. This is how you make the money, guys. You look at the signs and then you go and see if it's a red flag or a white flag or whatever. You go and you see if it actually represents something or nothing. So, like we said, remember we said that at the start, it could be nothing.
Jordan Strauss.
Uh, right? Yeah, exactly. We could just be there grasping at straws, and there's absolutely nothing there. But Danai seems to have a really good track record of it not being straws, so I
Sure.
trust him. Yeah, I trust you. um, Speaking about dates passing, which we weren't, we are when we were recording this early June, but the date has not yet passed, but it's close. You remember that time when Proven did say them suspend the APO, but the new closing date will be
Mm-hmm.
June 5th was the date,
Yep.
Actually went and looked it up earlier.
Yep. Here we are.
So we're recording this June 3rd. So
Mm-hmm. Let's see what
um
happens, right?
yeah, let's see what happens. Maybe I'll be in a good mood. I will put this out early. We'll put this out early before June 5th or on June 5th. Which would be a Friday. Is that so? I have that right?
Yeah, it's a Friday.
Yeah. Or maybe you're hearing this after June 5th, so you already know the answer. But I can tell you at this point, I'm excited to see what happens because I have not heard any mention of that date since. And I don't know if the suspension of the APO makes that date non-binding to the public, the Jamaican public, that is,
Yeah.
because, but then again, the suspension notice is what had it in there.
Mm-hmm.
I found that very, very strange. It's very interesting what's happening there. 5th of June seems to be a very popular date. Yeah, so June dividends from GK and a closing of the register of members from the near the end of May to now, and Prove are the two things that stood out to me also. SOS dropped their numbers. Actually, you saw those, didn't I?
Yes. I just had them open this actually.
Were they good? I opened them as I said it to you. Were they good?
Well, I'm alright, but
Uh,
I don't think the COVID quarter will be looking good for them.
whew,
They
right?
they were just starting out in the COVID time. The start of the COVID period, well, and basically the middle March
Mm-hmm.
is where they quote around where they close out the numbers, so the March 31st. So they caught half a month of COVID, and the
Mm-hmm.
numbers were down on the quarter.
Damn. Hmm. Down significantly enough, you think? I mean, I'd say so. No, you know what? I'd say maybe not.
Exactly. I was looking
Yeah,
at it and I was like, yo, this is not so bad for what's going on for them right now, to be honest.
yeah. Last year they made 57.5 million in the period,
Mm-hmm.
and this year they made 43.8 million in the same period. I mean, you're looking at that. That's let me get my math right. Then I the math genius could tell me.
I've never claimed that one, you know.
I know, but you have to. It's not claim this placed upon you. 76% of last year's total profit is what they've made now.
Yeah.
Um, mm, Here's my thinking. Right,
Mm-hmm.
March may have been a quarter of increased business under normal circumstances, and maybe coming close to exams for some people, so on. I just think there's enough reasons for less stationery generally to be used.
Mm-hmm.
Less people working in the office, more people working from home. So the office supply of paper and stationery generally just didn't run out.
Mm-hmm. I
You
remember
know
this that started before March, I remember correctly. When did we
that
start
yes.
working from home exactly?
You tell me. You work from home now, right?
No more. I should know better, should I?
Right? Yeah. Well, who remembers? Point is, yeah, I think it's a valid reason, and I think this is a case where you need to see a company really quickly jump to anticipate what's happening and change or adjust their business model to deal with what everybody's facing now, right? Because if you think exactly how I said, no complicated thing. If you think exactly how I said, everybody in the office, them use up the stationery, the pen, the paper, the printer get used all the time, right? Now everybody's home. So a lot of especially the unnecessary printing,
Mm.
the printing of your child's report on the company printer at 7 o'clock at night. And I'm not judging anybody, all right? Because I don't have a child, but I printed things on the computer printer at night also. He without sin. But the business model has changed, and so a lot of savings, that's how the company is spending on them stationery would think, are now in place. I'd expect SOS to then instead find a way around that. But that's easy for me to sit here in the seat and say it's a completely different thing when you actually run in the company. I
Yep.
don't think it's a big hit, but I know it can continue. And the man they just buy the software company,
The
Seek.
Seek. Yeah, I was saying that,
Mm.
Jano. Putting their home now.
Right? You definitely have to find a way to shift the model. You have to get those kids at home, but still get the books to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The Matt Daniels have their work cut out for them. Tough. So you go.
So it is.
Um, literally. Anybody else? Who else was at the top of my mind recently? Wicton paid a dividend again against all odds.
Yeah,
So
people
and
complain, that these are the dividend small.
who complained it's a dividend small?
I'm not gonna call me, man.
Yeah, no name, but I mean, what kind of people have you heard it from?
Um,
Don't be too specific. I don't want nobody vex with us.
I mean, the regular investors, people from the group,
Mm. Oh
some are
Lord,
hoping on dividends because it's sort of there's a rally in the price. The price went up.
price did go up
Yeah,
significantly, right? As I'm talking to you now, the price
almost
closed today at 85 cents.
$1.
And it has traded in the 90s. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It has traded all the way up into the 90s. I think 2 or 3 days ago, I saw it trade at a high of 95 cents.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, you could have get, remember, say Wigton was down to like,
Oh no.
what was it down to? Like in March, you could have get Wigton for below 60 cents,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
Middle of
It's
March,
like
I
the
believe.
price. Yep.
Yeah.
It was
March
trading on strong
19th.
vibes at that time, so you could get a good amount.
Yeah. Big up. I mean, to Wigton's credit, it almost every day has strong
Mm.
enough volumes.
I tell
And
people,
granted, yeah, go ahead.
Wigton is a special case. Wigton, all right. So it's something I've said in the group, whatever.
Hmm.
Usually hint, hint, not like spoon feed, but I always seem to come here and spoon feed anyway. Yeah, thing there. Wigton, what gives me a lot of positive outlook for Wigton is that they have people that are buying strongly. So the thing with Wigton is that thing there. It's not held heavily on a certain by a certain. So there's nobody that's owning 80% of the company and then 20% out there for everybody to grab up. So there's a big
Yeah.
issue with boy. It's so widely held. It's hard for it to move up without somebody saying, "I want this. I want a lot of this stock." If you look at
Correct.
if you look at the numbers that are released, you realize that certain parties, from IPO time to now, they've been increasing their stake over and over and over. So
Yes.
VM initially they moved up to the 10% threshold. I think they had to sell down at a point or something like that because within the group they had 10% or over. Just an article I was saying to link that in the show
Yes,
notes.
please.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so VM took a strong position. So to me, it seems that VM is looking to own a lot of this stuff. Mayberry, I don't like talk about it because
Yeah, I
but
was going to do it for you, I was going to say that your company lead,
mm-hmm,
your company principal, Chris Berry, on IG, on one of the IG sessions, actually answered. I actually asked that question about the energy sector, and he pointed out how excited he was about Wigton, and then he said, his words, not mine. Apologies if I get it wrong, but I don't think I did. He said that Mayberry is the lead shareholder,
mm-hmm.
or one of the biggest shareholder in Wigton.
All right, so
And I know he's either the biggest or the second biggest.
mm-hmm. All right, look
Yeah.
at so how I look at it. To me, all right.
Hmm.
So basically, if you could have gotten Wigton at 56, if Wigton was a buy at 56 to me, because what's really changing in their market because of COVID, you tell
Well,
me.
a lot. That's the thing I'm excited about for them. What's changing for them?
Mm-hmm.
The majority of Jamaicans are now home and spending
Mm-hmm.
time in front of devices that is pulling electricity to the point where we're actually having blackouts again and brownouts again in Jamaica. Um, the people who are complaining that we can never make sense at IPO because they only have one customer, that's their strength. That one customer is under pressure right now. So I'm pretty sure, all things being equal, anything that Wigton can produce, that one customer can buy. That
Yeah.
one customer being JPS
Mm-hmm. All
and
right.
will buy and has use for. So you're saying that,
So yeah, so the company fundamentals, I'm not seeing where going to be a large change in them.
mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, I needed, as I said earlier, I need somebody to be buying heavily to actually get this stock out of my hand, actually move the price up.
Mm-hmm. You need liquidity.
So thing there, and then again with this strong signing from Mayberry and VM at the first numbers after June 2019 numbers, VM had 591 shares, 591 million shares. That's
Mm-hmm.
5.37%. You look at MJE at 40 million shares, that's 36.36%, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
and then you look again at
I'm
the
sorry, that's
next number,
what percent?
0.36%.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, man. You look at September 2019, VM
Mm-hmm.
is now the number one shareholder with 976 million shares, 8.8%, and Mayberry has 304, that's 2.7%. If you look at the volumes traded in that period, you realize, hey, these guys were big buyers during that time.
Yeah.
And then you look again,
Yeah.
VM is still number one with 1.018 million shares. That's 1 billion shares.
Wow. And
They're
set a
down
percentage again?
9.2%. So they increased their stake in that period. That's December 2019. That's just what they.
Yes.
Mayberry, 6.7%. The 737 million shares. To me, they're buying, they're signing on early to the race. We always talk about 5 years after a week done this, we expect to be a
Yep.
race when the thing they get. Like, I think these guys are
They're red
positioning
wedding.
themselves to be, hey, we are in the best position when that time comes to take more shares because our average price will be our 5 years ago price when we're buying heavily into it when we can
Mm-hmm.
actually buy into it. So to me, Wheaton falling was our next moment where somebody like Mayberry and VM can move up as close to the 10% as they can, and Mayberry can buy even more with a 3 point. If they're on 6.7%, then boy, this can be a time when they can move up to the 10 as easily as possible because the price falling. And with that level of buy-in, the price must move in my mind.
Right.
So
And the funny thing is, the more they buy, is the more they reduce.
reduce the amount of outstanding shares trading around
Exactly.
from people. So to
Reduce the
me,
supply.
yeah. So with that heavy buy in, you can look at the thing there. You can look at the amount of volumes trading in that period, come and look at the amount that Mayberry and VM bought during that period and say, boy, I know they really bought a lot of the shares that were traded. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
To me, Wheaton was going to rally, and I believe somebody big was saying them to buy into it. I think Mayberry might have been the people.
Yeah, Mayberry's stake has moved quite a bit. And for Sir Berry to make a statement like that, biggest or one of the
Exactly.
biggest.
Exactly. To me, that
Yeah,
was all right. So we've been by.
exactly. Yeah, and that man don't miss. And plus, I mean, Mayberry did list them, so they know
Listen,
the intrinsic value in it. Yeah. And I always say, unless you think that we're going to stop using electricity anytime soon, Wigton not going to go anywhere.
yeah,
Moreover, Wigton gives us electricity without requiring oil imports, which is a major plus in their favor. So every kilowatt that Wigton generates is a kilowatt that we didn't have to pay oil for.
yes,
We
that
just
old
use
money.
breeze. Yeah.
Somebody has a rough metric. Stuart, he said he's watching the wind speeds during the periods to see if
Which
it's still
Stuart is this?
uh Stuart South.
Yeah, big up the man properly, man. Big up Stuart.
Yeah,
So
big up Stuart South. I think it was what Sagicor's
employee of the
employee of the
year.
year last year,
Yeah.
2019. But
Yeah, big up Stuart
Stuart
South for that.
predicted the move for Wheaton. So from he said, so hold on, let me go find it.
He had actually mentioned it to me, You had actually mentioned it to me. You had said, let me see if I have it right. Something I think something about his bet on Wigton being at least 84 cents by the end of May.
Yeah,
Yo.
man, I said that I sent his message and I saw that he was thinking that he hit the mark.
Yeah, well, no, that man talk about
Yeah.
as what at 85 cents today, and at the
Mm-hmm.
end of May, when they sent the message, I thought that was impressive because I just look at the range and I was like, okay, that's somebody that have sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm looking actually now to realize on the last trading day of May, Wigton closed at 94 cents.
Mm-hmm.
The
And he
day
said that
before
on
that, it was,
April 8th.
yeah, wow. On April 8th, him predict how him think it's going to look May. And on April 8th, Wigton was trading at, I will tell you, Wigton closed the day on April 8th at 70 cents. So I rate that sort of
Oh,
thinking. So him
good
say at
segue
least
into
eight.
Stuart. He corrected me on something I said actually about JMB, how they'll book the dividend income. They won't book it in their
Mm-hmm,
P&L because of the profit thing. So the profit they
mm-hmm,
book share profit only. They won't book share profit and dividend income in their P&L. P&L does go straight to the cash flow and the bank and the balance sheet
and why won't the
because
dividends
the
from
method of booking. So because they own an associate stake, they only book share
mm-hmm,
profit from associate. If they had it on an equity stake, so it's below 20%, then they're booking the trading gains. So all this
or if
start
they
move up
held it
and
that
down.
way?
If they held it
Mm-hmm,
that way, yes, true. If they held it that way, then it would have been so the trading gains or whatever the will be the value of the thing there. So the value of the asset, the movement in the
mm-hmm,
price of the asset, and then the dividends from the asset will be booked in the P&L. But because they say, oh, it's an associate company, they book up percent of the profit based on how
mm-hmm,
much of the company they own. So they own, say, 22%, then they'll book 22% of whatever profit or loss Sagicor makes, and then the dividends will go straight to the cash flow statements and the balance sheet. So basically, just cash flow hit them every now and then. Whenever Sagicor pays a dividend, we wouldn't see it in their profit and loss statement saying, "Oh, we've got some more dividends from Sagicor." So he corrected me on that.
aha, aha.
Yeah.
And if that's so, then that shows a lot. That shows a nice strength of what should have been a nice show of strength from the cash flow statement, because it's a cash flow then that would show that them get about half a billion, worth of dividends since March,
Yeah.
I think,
Mm-hmm.
or
I think
since
so.
February.
So that's
February
right.
or March. Yeah. So
Strong
half a
money to them.
billion worth of dividends from Sagicor Financial hit JMMB.
Mm-hmm.
Then and that means also that Oh, that means I might have said something incorrect at a grower. I need to update those grower people then, because we spoke at one of the growers. We were going through JMB, and I found one of the things I found very impressive was the dividends that are hitting them from their new holding, Sagicor Financial, and so that hasn't changed. That money coming in and it's going to be
Yeah,
really, really good.
bottom.
However, it wouldn't hit the P&L per se, but they would have the money in their hand, which is an
Mhm.
even nicer thing. Which is the thing that they'll tell you in any accounting class about cash flow and why it's important, and why the net profit might not always show everything.
Mhm. That's funny.
Yeah.
I think
Why
some
is it
guys
funny?
are some guys will be surprised we said that for some reason. But yeah, moving on.
Yeah, speaking
I
about
think we
moving
have a lot to
on,
move on to, you know.
yeah, Digicel Bond.
Yeah, funny guy.
Oh my lord! Did you sell? I say a nice. I won't even spend too much time on it, but there's a nice. I'm going to put it in the show notes. So there's check the show notes right now. If you don't know where the show notes are, there should be a little area in whatever app you're listening to us on that shows it. If you listen to us on the website, then it's on the same page that you listen to us with. I'm going to put in there the Digicel Bond article where it shows that it would appear that companies linked to the Digicel founder Dennis O'Brien would have been getting paid money through the expense line consistently
Hmm.
for a few years now, even after he, as a board member, I think, or as company principal, would have officially stopped paying dividends
Hmm.
to himself while they get their finances in
In order
order.
so they can make the bond payments, which they've been having trouble with.
Right.
You know,
So
they've had
those
big
bondholders,
restructure. So those bondholders, even after the restructuring, boy, I feel it for you guys.
yeah,
But I guess we learn a lesson every day, right? Some
yeah.
people learn it
Uh,
harder than some.
Yeah, that is true. But the point is to actually learn the lesson. So it would
Mhm.
appear that the equity holder in this case is still benefiting ahead of the
Despite,
bondholders,
yeah,
despite everything. And it's not illegal either.
hmm,
He's following
despite
the
fine,
line.
yeah.
Turns out that when people have money and they have interest in certain things, their money is the most interesting thing to them and most important thing to them. And they don't care what you call the money that hits their pocket, as
Mhm.
long as it hits their pocket.
Yep,
Yeah.
dividend or expense.
Yeah, there is there is a exactly there's a lesson there. um so Digicel, which is not listed obviously, but that'd be great. I always wanted them to maybe list their individual country companies
Hmm.
with the hope
Yeah,
that it would give a nice
it might be on the thing.
boost.
It might be on the SEC's website actually, because
It
it
is,
comes
yeah.
from some further disclosures, and they apparently went really deep into it. I just haven't gone through it as yet. Yeah, it do we say. But yeah, interesting. It's really instructive. You can get a real look at how companies are actually run.
Yes, yes. Oh wow.
But
Oh
yes,
wow.
let's move on to somebody who runs a company and does it well.
Here we go. So Danai with the segue. So we'll pause stocks, guys, and we haven't forgotten the market review, but all in good time.
Yes.
Danai with a great intro there where we can move over to our guest, which I didn't tell you who it was, but I am proud to.
Surprise, surprise.
Right. Our guest this week is the one and only Monique Powell of QuickPlate.
Hmm.
Founder and CEO, is that what we call you, Monique?
That's good. That's good enough. Yes, that's fine.
I don't want good enough. I want
Good
you
enough.
to, you know what?
What do you call
Yeah.
it?
Well,
Yes.
well,
Monique, introduce yourself.
all right. So I am the founder and CEO of QuickPlate, which has recently expanded to also include QuickCart. Uh, we've been at it for a while, about 4 years now. Started in March of 2016.
Wow. Starting when? Say that again. March
Started in March
2016. So,
2016. So just a little over 4 years now.
wow. Congrats.
Thank you.
Wow. They said the first 3 years is when you know whether or not you have a business.
And here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Saying year four, she's proving her worth. 4 years. Congrats, Monique. So go ahead, Monique. Sorry to interrupt you. I didn't realize it was that long.
No, 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 that's fine. Yeah, so we've been about for a little over 4 years, and I feel like we're we're still in the startup phase in terms of, you know, constantly adapting, constantly innovating, constantly learning more about our customers and what they want, and doing that all while trying to build a business that is sustainable, profitable, and is set up in such a way and structured in such a way that that is likely to be around for the long haul.
I like that.
Sounds good.
Yeah, you're gone deep though, Monique. Start back from the early stuff, man. Cause people, somebody listening, don't have no idea
Oh,
who you are or
oh,
what it
how
is.
far back you want me to go?
As far back as you're comfortable going. Who is Monique? Who is Monique Paul? So we can start there.
All right, so I'll 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 start out with my journey right after high school.
Wow.
So
Which high school?
I went to Immaculate. I went to Immaculate
Oh
for
wow.
Farm
Right,
Street.
girl. Top,
Uh,
top, top.
Yeah, big up every immaculate girl everywhere.
And I think right after leaving high school, I realized that I had an entrepreneurial streak. So I started
Mm-hmm.
out doing freelance web development and freelance graphic design. I would literally walk in the sun from store to store and ask for the owner and show them a portfolio and ask them if they want a business card and website and letterheads, things like that. Uh, did that for a while, and it eventually led to a freelance contract with the Gleaner company. And they liked the work that I did. And when a full time position became available there, they asked me if I wanted it. And that's how I got into the 9 to 5 world. I stayed with the Gleaner company for 7 years as their internet specialist. Moved to
Wow.
Digicel, where I was for a year and a half as the web specialist on their marketing team. And my next stop and last stop before QuickPlate was at Scotiabank, where I spent 5 years. And I was eventually the regional marketing manager with responsibility for digital marketing across the
Oh, wow.
Caribbean. So that
Boy,
was my last 9 to 5 stop before going full speed into entrepreneurship.
boy. So Dana, you're shocked as I am?
Yes. She started with the entrepreneurship and then she went into the 9 to 5. Usually, like, boy, I'm gonna tell her this 9 to 5, but I just went into just because everybody said I should do it. And then going to the entrepreneurship. She started as that and then she went to the 9 to 5, excelled more than so. And then here she's again, excelling outside of 9 to 5. Crazy.
Wow.
I'm shocked.
You know,
Crazy.
it's one of those things that I think it's always been in me, and even while I was working at various companies and happy doing so, I always kind of knew within myself that there would be a point. I didn't know when it was gonna come, but there would be a point where I would be going out and kind of forging my own path. I always knew that it would come at some point.
Mhm. Wow. But what's beautiful is that you did that thing that a lot of people do before, like then I say, entrepreneur, corporate, and then you go back to your dream. But the corporate section allow you, I would hope, allow you to learn a whole heap. But what's bothering me is say I got load money up now too. It say she tell me before we start, say, oh, she don't really know much about the market. You hear the places she work? She
Yep.
start with Gleaner, listed Gleaner.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, the Gleaner have two things in there because if you were doing digital at Gleaner, Monique, you would have. Were you there when they were doing the G or yeah, the G?
But the GU, what is that?
DI space
Oh
G.
no, that came after. I think that came after I left, actually.
Okay, yeah, I remember I used to use that a lot because they had a lot of data there. But why I ask that is because I think some of their online properties might have stayed with 1834 when they did that.
34.
Yeah, when they did the split and merger thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So that's two corporate companies, that's two listed companies you have experience with right there, if I count both of those. And then that's Gleaner and RJR. And the second one was Rare Money.
Second one was Digicel, and then on to Scotiabank.
And them listed all over, and then Scotiabank. Wow. So you really know, you really do have a good idea how this thing works, at least from the inside, because you then understand what inside of a listed company is like and how that pressure works. Wow. I didn't know you're doing the thing that truly speaks to your soul. The QuickPlate, 4 years in. And what do you call yourself? I wanted to get that. What do you call yourself a QuickPlate? I always try to make sure I get people's titles right for the companies.
It's really not a big deal to me or something that I focus on. I started referring to myself as managing director. That's how I started referring to myself, and eventually people started saying CEO, and I just went with the flow. So it's neither
Just
here
went
nor
with
there
the
to me, really.
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah. Well, that's good, but you are founder, and I think that's important.
Right, right.
So you started off 4 years ago, you say. So I don't even know where to ask you. It's like you hit me with so many things that even I wasn't expecting. So first you went into tech, which is good. I mean, as somebody who did tech too, I don't, you don't see a lot of women being as entrepreneurial with the tech as you. So I'm really, so what pushed you to that, Monique?
Well, I mean, it always has been a male-dominated space. Even when I was at the cleaner company for
Mm-hmm.
a very long time, I was the only female internet specialist slash web developer that they had there. And that I was there for 7 years, like I said, and I'm trying to think now as to whether there was. Oh yes, I think eventually there was one. There was one female web developer, and this
Mm,
is over years of seeing a number of them in and out of the company. So I got used to being in a space that was dominated by men in terms of numbers, and
mm,
it wasn't. I never at any point though found it to be a neutral or uncomfortable space in any way. Um,
oh, I like
I,
that.
Which is
I
right.
I had a I found the I found my colleagues to be very supportive, even egging me on whenever I would launch new projects or whatever it was. So there was support from my male counterparts, and technology, it was just always a space that I was drawn to. I think I built my first website at about 14 years old. I think
Oh
between the
wow.
in the summer between fourth form and fifth form,
Nice.
in the height of summer boredom, and I just never looked back.
Nice. I love that. I love that. It's a true push because now you own one of Jamaica's freshest, newest internet businesses,
Mm-hmm.
and as a result of that, as as a result of the coronavirus that has hit all of us over the past few months, you have seen, I think, a huge boost in your business, no?
I think so.
Yes, I can definitely say that there has been an uptick. It didn't happen right off the bat, like a lot of people would imagine. So it wasn't a case where, the lockdown started and business tripled. It still took a few weeks for people to start to change their habits. So, persons who had never ordered online, it took a while for them to come around and decide, okay, let me try this out since, nobody really wants to go on the road right now. People
Hmm.
who ordering takeout for delivery or ordering food for delivery was a once in a while treat. It took a while for them to start ordering multiple times per week until it became a part of their routine. So what has happened is I would say the last 3 to 4 weeks is where we've actually seen the biggest spike. And I think it's indicative of what's to come. I think even as people start to go back to whatever normal looks like for them now or will look like, I think there are some new habits or new behaviors that they picked up during this time that they're not gonna backtrack on. So if you discover that there was a way that you could get access to all the best food from all the best restaurants without leaving your yard. Now that you or when we get to the point where you can freely move about and feel comfortable freely moving about, I don't think you're gonna suddenly give up that convenience that you recently discovered. So I think there's gonna be a lot of long-standing behavioral changes among consumers out of this COVID-19 crisis.
That's true. But I don't even want to jump. I don't want to jump ahead. I don't want shortchange the
I was also say we haven't even said what QuickPlate is.
Yes, I don't want to shortchange the journey. So you say high school immaculate, you went to work for a couple of places, and then you started out QuickPlate.
What made it
So
start? What made you say, "Oh, all right, I'm done with the 9 to 5 journey"? Because it was a journey. You started somewhere, you went somewhere else, and then you're back here in the entrepreneurial world. So what made you say, "I want to do this entrepreneur thing"?
Well, I think it was the collision of a couple of things happening in my life and in my mind at the same time. I think I had gotten to a place where I was starting to experience some degree of burnout on the job, and I think it kind of triggered off a lot of introspection for me as to whether I was still doing what I wanted to do, whether I was still happy doing what I was doing. And in a separate part of my mind, an idea was forming because at that time I often worked late and I would get home 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the night. And at that time I wouldn't even want to look at a stove. Not that I was into cooking to begin with, but I wouldn't even want to look at a stove at that time. So what I would order pizza because that was the only thing that you could order delivery at that time. And I started to realize that there was a gap in the market. So yeah, if you have a beer or a courier that you know personally, you can call them and they'll go and stand in the line for you. But that's not exactly the most efficient system, is it? So I started to explore, whether there was room for that sort of thing here in this market. I mean, we're not the first to do something like this in the world. There are other similar companies in other countries. But I don't think anybody was doing it on a larger or what I would consider to be a serious scale here. And I spoke to a few restaurant owners. I spoke to a number of persons like myself, just to assess whether there would be some demand both on the restaurant side and on the customer side. And the feedback I got was enough for me to say, all right, let's do this. So I started building out the platform, and it was something that happened very, very quickly. I think I started building out the platform in February of 2016, and by March 2016 we were live.
And ready by March.
Yes, we went live on March 31st.
So did you leave your job before, or?
I left 2 weeks before the company launched.
So everything planned up and you already know, all right, time for me to leave. Makes sense.
Something like that.
Smart moves.
Yeah, that is a smart move. But then to get it ready in that time, is you coding by yourself just at night?
No. So the work in terms of on the technical side was split between myself and a developer who I had worked with on a previous project. So before QuickPlate, I had this online dating site, and so he and I.
You can't jump past the thing, mom.
Just skip past that one.
Yeah, on a profile, you don't want to hear how it go. Online dating site, local online dating site.
Yeah,
Want to hear how it go.
right. So about I think it could have been about a year before I did QuickPlate. I decided to start one just as a hobby project, really. And the initial response to it was great. I think within 3 weeks of launching, we had about 600 users on the site. So, and that was with minimal marketing and so forth. So people wanted it. So something people gravitated to. But then I started to think, all right, this thing costs money to run. How am I gonna earn from it? So I decided to do a bare bones free package and then put on a paid package that
Yeah.
people could upgrade to for all the bells and whistles. Not
Mm-hmm.
one
So the
person,
freemium model.
not one person,
So no, I'm not gonna go for free. Then I
Mm-hmm.
speak.
not
Money
even
not even
one
want to spend on the movies. I'm gonna spend on this.
person.
I'm
Right.
gonna spend on meeting her. I don't want.
Right. So people started finding ways to go around the system because I think how it was set up was that with a free thing, like you could only exchange one message or something like that, so people would put all their contact information in that
Ah,
one.
So it was WhatsApp me.
And then they head off the platform. So I quickly realized that the amount of effort that I would have to put in for that thing to even pay for itself, it wasn't worth it. So gradually I allowed that project to die. But we still maintained the relationship we had, the developer who worked with me on that. And then we also started working together on QuickPlate. So I focused a lot on the front end stuff, the design, front end coding. He focused
mm,
mainly on the back end and on the actual platform development.
wow. Okay. And you put you. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead, Danai.
It sounds good. From
Yeah.
from easy dating to easy food. But I noticed that Quick Play started with a demand for a personal demand, or the dating site started out as well.
Well, well, it wasn't a personal need at that particular point in time,
Oh,
but
cool, cool.
I mean, those type of sites weren't, I had no problem with using them, and I saw where a number of people were able to meet people and have fulfilling relationships from those sites. So it
Why
was,
not?
yeah, why not? Why not give some people an opportunity to meet new persons?
Makes sense. Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah. I think that's actually amazing. So you ever consider going back to that? Because I think that might have just been a matter of timing.
You Randy, it's not like you want this side. You
I,
really want
I,
this to happen.
It's unlikely. It's unlikely. It's unlikely.
it's unlikely that you would do that again.
It's unlikely. I mean, at this point in time, QuickPlate takes up so much of my time that I can't imagine launching something else anytime soon. So I won't say never. I won't tell you that in 10 years time or 15 years time I may not decide to do something that's similar in nature to that project I did before. But in
Mm-hmm.
the short term I don't see it happening.
Oh. Okay. Hmm. Well, I
You
mean, I
Randy
just
took
want
free
to.
let down.
Yeah, kind of hurt. It kind of hurt. Because, I mean, I don't know if you've ever used QuickPlate. QuickPlate is very convenient with the
Oh,
yard. And you don't want to leave.
trust me.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Though I've used it
Yeah.
at work. I've used it at work, but I haven't used it at my house. Is it available in Spanish though?
No, it's not. So we
You heard my
are
You see, at this point, we still don't tell people what QuickPlate is,
yeah.
all right.
People, I'm so sorry.
All
You
right.
never let them know.
I can go ahead and shed some light on what exactly QuickPlate is. So QuickPlate pretty much allows people to go online, see and browse the menus from a number of restaurants, order online, and have the food delivered to your doorstep. So in a nutshell, that is what QuickPlate is. A way to connect customers or diners with restaurants around them. So it allows for online payment. It allows you to track the position of the rider or driver. It allows for SMS notifications, so that you have full visibility over the order process. We basically use technology to enhance the whole experience of ordering online. in a way that provides the customer with what we consider to be a seamless experience. And I think the customer experience is only going to get better from here as we continue to make process improvements, as we continue to innovate internally. It's only going to get better from here.
Wow. I've been deliberately not trying to skirt you touching where we're getting, but I mean we can get there. So QuickPlate essentially is deliver food. It's something that Jamaica has needed for a long time,
Yep.
and it's you handling the online logistics and the delivery logistics of food delivery. So people can actually even the cook shops can get on money. How many restaurants you have on your platform now?
So in total, we have I think it's about 80 merchants at this time, both restaurants and other types of partners.
Wow, 80 restaurants, and you're. I think then I asked. You said if you're in Spanish Town, and you say no. But what's your radius currently?
Right. So we primarily cover Kingston and St. Andrew. We're also in Portmore.
Nice.
We're hoping that in the medium to long term, we will be able to expand to other areas in the island as well.
Nice. How's the Portmore thing going now? Because Portmore must be a nice place to be, especially now, or a busy place to be. I should think.
Well, I mean, Kingston is content in terms of order volume. Kingston is still way ahead of Portmore, I think. A food delivery service that operates in the way that we do is still relatively new to the space in Portmore. So we have customers over there who order all the time. So we do have some loyal customers there. But I think it's going to take time for us to pick up the kind of steam in Portmore that we have going in Kingston and St.
Andrew. Only good time. I mean, it's just a matter of advertising. And I mean, a whole heap of Portmore people online now. I think it's just a matter of them just not knowing. So the marketing will help. But it's just blowing my mind. And then Monique sounds so calm. What's this calm? Have you always been this calm? Is this calm exterior that you're bringing?
Well, I'd like
a Zen thing.
Well, I mean, I'd like to think so. I mean, nobody's calm all the time, but I try as much as possible to not. I think when you run a business, there's so much that happens on any given day. So many fires that need to be outed, so many decisions that need to be made on the fly. That you need to learn how to chill out. You need to learn how to approach things with a certain level of calmness, or else it is very well likely to drive you crazy. So this might just be a side effect of adjusting to that.
Yeah, I like that. So how do you do that? Because people need. I know I need that, and you're right. The day to day is fire, 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 fire. Sleep. Wake up, fire, fire. It is sometimes it feels like it feels like it never ends. So how do you do that? You meditate, what you do?
Well, I'm still learning. I'm still 4 years in. I'm still learning how to best handle all of that. One of the things that works for me, I'm not sure how healthy this is because what it means is that I don't get the kind of sleep that I should. But what works for me is getting up super early most mornings. So when I start working at 5 o'clock, by 8 o'clock, when the rest of the world is ready to start buzzing, I've already gotten quite a few things over the way. Because from 8 o'clock onwards is just fire outing and decision making and unexpected things popping up. It basically, for me, I mean, despite all the try that I try, you more or less lose control of your day once the rest of the world is up. So, kind of structuring your day so that even in the midst of all that craziness, you still have a little bit of control over what you get done, at least in that early part of the day. So that's one of the techniques, for want of a better word, that I use to to try to keep some under control.
So
Outside of that, I think I don't know if it will ever. I think it's just part and parcel of running a business. I don't know if there will be a point in the near future where it's gonna be any less crazy.
mm,
Oh,
probably
it's still
not.
growing up, so it probably get worse.
Yeah, yeah. And people always people. I mean, you are doing a service that people need. If
Yeah,
everybody would never think we needed it
they know
after
they don't.
Corona, when
Yep.
yeah, we we definitely know that we need it. Um, you said though, I want to go back to the start because I know I feel like you're skipping over so many things after you with that where you worked before thing. You think it's, I mean, think about the start. That's what I want to hear a lot about because it, I would feel bad if I'm listening to this. And Monique has what I think is a successful um, online business in Jamaica at a time, and you've been running it for the last 4 years. So even if people think it's successful now, yeah, online delivery never sounds successful as a Jamaican product in 2017 or 2018.
No,
So
absolutely not. I mean, when we so even in terms of the number of restaurants that we have on board, I think we ended. I don't think we ended the first year with more than about 12 or 14 restaurants, somewhere thereabout, because it was very difficult to convince restaurants that this is something that would take off. This is something that would be worth the time that it would take for them to set it up. Uh, that people would be going online and using credit cards to pay for delivery and all of that and paying a delivery fee. It took some convincing, and then by the end of the second year, I think we tripled the number because in that second year, people started to say, "Oh, I think these guys are onto something. Let's see if we can get in on that." But it wasn't convincing people that this was something that would take off in Kingston or Jamaica on a whole. It wasn't necessarily an easy task in the beginning.
okay, then I don't want to hear about me. Tell me about you see, why you sound so afraid? Tell the people
I'm,
about the actual struggle. That's what we want here because what I want is to be able to have somebody listen to this and not just appreciate what it is that you have built,
yeah.
but also appreciate the journey that you've gone through and that somebody looking to go that route might have to expect to go through. So I mean, I know that it wasn't easy. More you tell the people them how hard it was because I mean, you started off where you get the money from. The bank they just get money. I know you say you used to work at the bank. The bank they just say, "Hey, money, I
Abs-
like your idea. Here's 5 mil."
absolutely not. I wish. I wish. Absolutely not. So it came from my life savings.
Mm.
So basically, well, the plan was not to put my entire life savings into QuickPlate, but eventually that's what happened because when you when you're first starting a business, especially when it's your first full-fledged business, you're overly optimistic about every revenue projection, and then you totally
Mm.
underestimate every expense that you had put in your projections. So what that means is that you're burning through cash at twice the rate that you thought it would have. And, of course the banks didn't even look at me. When I eventually went out and applied for loans. None of them did. So it even got to the point where I said, all right, I've come too far with this business to allow it to shut down. So I went for a pension, which
Hold on.
at that time was a couple million
Oh,
dollars. And I just shut my eye and put it in the business. So
whoa.
it
Hold on, man. You're running big. You start the business and it was working fine, or it wasn't working fine. You say? I mean, it is early startup day. I think you said the first year you did finish with less than a small amount. I don't remember the exact number you said.
partner,
The first year,
yeah,
yeah.
about somewhere about 14 there about in terms of partners. But it like I said, and it happens with just talking with other entrepreneurs. It's a common thing, especially like I said with your first business. So
I know it's common. That's why I want you to tell them.
you have this pretty looking revenue chart. Of course, you say,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, of course, the first few months are gonna be rough. So the first few months the line level, and then after that the line start going up and it go up steadily. That's how your revenue projections look, And
Yeah.
then for expenses, you you pretty much have no idea what's really coming. So
Them go up and then they
think
flat in
about
your revenue projection. In your
like you
projections.
may need to rent a little office somewhere. You're gonna have some
Yeah.
electricity cost, but you really probably, especially with a business that is as complex as ours in terms of a logistics business, there is a lot of complexity involved that people
Mm-hmm.
don't even understand, and with that complexity comes, there are costs associated with putting ourselves in a position to run a business like that effectively and
When
efficiently. You know.
you say people don't understand, help us understand what kind of complexities.
So food delivery, for instance, is as simple as it may appear on the surface, is one of the most difficult logistics business to run because everything has to happen within an hour. The, the order being picked up on our end in terms of our dispatcher making note of that order, in terms of the
Mhm.
restaurant um, being aware of that order, processing it in the kitchen, us dispatching somebody, that person getting to the restaurant, waiting on food prep to be complete, getting to the customer. That's a lot that needs to happen within an hour. And the thing is that once an order goes over an hour, customers start
Mhm. Get
to
antsy because
right, right.
yeah.
So to ensure the best customer experience, all of that has to happen within an hour, and it has to happen within an hour consistently. So to ensure that we do that, we have to have certain internal processes in place. We have to have certain logistics software that we use so that we can see the position of every rider and driver at any given point in time. There's a lot that's going on the back end to make sure that that meal gets to the customer in a timely fashion.
Mm. And it's not as simple as just regular delivery because regular restaurant, I mean, I'm cooking here and the bite man is outside, but you literally you have a two-step delivery because you have to leave wherever you are or find a bite man leave wherever closest, and they have to then go and get it and then
Just,
come to yeah.
just double customer. The person buying the food is their customer, and the restaurant, and in some degree, their customer as well.
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
boy,
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
and not
What
and
other
not
what
just
other
to some degree, they are our customers.
definitely.
In the same way that the person who goes online and places the order is our customer.
Hmm.
mm, and okay, so that logistics is one error, not one error, but one area
Mhm.
that you have a lot of difficulty in. What other areas you have? What you think? What are your biggest difficulty
Well,
areas?
I mean, the thing is that I think most of our biggest lessons in terms of logistics, in terms of the toughest, hardest lessons, I think, or I would hope, are behind us. I mean, we went through an entire phase where we had our own fleet of motorcycles, and we had to suddenly become concerned with maintenance of these bikes and constantly fixing, constantly repairing them, and to the
Hmm.
point where even myself, I had to learn how to do some minor repairs and that sort of things to motorcycles. And we went through the whole phase of trying various ways to make the operations go as smoothly as possible. I mean, that's no longer something that we do in terms of maintaining a fleet of vehicles, but that's just one of the things that we did that ended up costing us a lot that we learned very tough lessons from, you know.
Wow. So you don't handle your bikes anymore? You don't do internal
Mm,
logistics anymore?
Well, we all our contracted delivery drivers and riders have their own vehicles, and that is our model now.
Okay. So what you do is you pay instead for your employee to manage the tool that they use,
Right. So
or I should say, Yeah.
So whatever we pay, it is done with the understanding that they will cover whatever costs are associated with their vehicles, because they are, they are operating as contractors, and
Mhm.
their vehicle is a tool for the job, just as their cell phone with the app is a tool for the job.
That makes sense to me.
Right.
So basically, I have a motorcycle and I want to use. I want to use it for a job. So I'm an entrepreneur of sorts, and I link with QuickPlate. So I provide the service to QuickPlate.
Well, it's we have a couple of sub models um,
Mhm.
within our larger model in terms of how that works on our side. One of the things that we launched fairly recently, um, less than a year ago, I think, is an Uber style program that allows part-time persons or persons who are otherwise engaged. Maybe they're students, maybe they have a day job, but they're looking for ways to make additional funds. And they log on whenever their schedules allow for it, and that allows us to have access to a wider pool of people,
Mhm.
while allowing a number of persons to earn a little bit more of the vehicle that they have. So they have that car payment to make anyway. So why not use one Saturday every week and earn some extra money off of that vehicle that you have?
That's
So
good.
it's something that has been working very well, and
Mhm.
uh, they there's been strong interest from both drivers and motorcycle riders, and we use both in our fleet.
Mm.
Hmm. Hmm. How has that
Interesting.
been working out? Yeah.
Yeah, the car. I would more think. I would think that people would shy away from the car delivery thing.
Well, I can. When you say shy away, you mean in terms of what?
I have a car versus a motorcycle.
Oh
I'm
no,
much more likely to get caught in traffic, that type of thing.
right. Well, the thing is that as I said, the interest from drivers has been great. There's been a quite a number of applications from drivers, more applications from drivers than motorcycle riders. And what we try to do, I can't get into all of it because it would be like giving away the secret sauce. But we know,
Okay. Well, yeah. If something's proprietary, something's proprietary. We
right?
don't want
We
to pressure
know
you.
we know how to use both the cars and the bikes in our fleet in the most effective manner, so that the impact of things like traffic is minimized.
Makes sense.
Hmm.
Makes sense.
Wow. Wow. That's actually interesting. I want to touch anything too proprietary, but I like that because I do, and you touch on a good point there because you do have competition. Yeah.
Quite a bit.
Yeah, you do have competition. So how do you in general terms, you'd have to give it the secret sauce, but I mean, how do you handle that competition that you have
Well,
generally?
well,
How do you
I mean,
how
competition is for the most part a good thing. A good thing for consumers in terms of choice, and in terms
Mhm.
of the various players constantly improving their service, because they have to they have to they have to compete for your business, right? And it's good for the businesses that are involved in that particular space, because now they have incentive to continually innovate. It's innovate or die if you're in a space that is crowded.
Mhm.
So for me, it's like I said before, I can't say everything that we do to differentiate ourselves. I can't get into all the details, but so enough to say that a lot of the innovation that drives businesses forward is not innovation that is readily visible from the outside. It's it's things like process improvement. It's things like improvements in service delivery. It's it's a lot of innovation on the back end. So, for example, there are things that we do differently on the back end to make it likely that any order you place is going to get to you within a particular time. There are things that we do on the back end
Okay.
to make it strongly likely that when you reach
Mhm.
out to us via live chat or email or whatever method you use, there is somebody on the other end of that to respond to you and help you with whatever the issue is. So a lot of the innovation is not necessarily bells and whistles that you'll see on the outside. It happens, a lot of it happens behind the scenes. And there's a constant commitment to customer service, customer care, and also process improvements, constant process improvement.
Yeah, it's you're in a game now where it's more than just the tech, and I like that because seeing you do something successful in local tech meant a lot to me, because tech often gets devolved or simplified into just the actual tech.
Yep.
So, yeah,
All business
you
just
find
tech.
out. Yeah, you find a lot of I remember especially at UTech, and the guys that come out of UTech anyway, but they have a great idea, and they write something for it, they put something together, put together a website, and it is a good idea, a great idea, and so they think it will work, and they're like, yo, I don't get it. Why the bank, the Jamaican bank, them not support you at all? Cause them not really want innovation, cause them nobody not give me a loan. I'm like, yo, the tech is
The technology
a
is
small,
right. So
Tech is the tool.
it is
yeah,
when I say it is the least, of course it is let me take that back that part. It is not right, but it's not as important as some of these techies who are developing solutions early in the game, I think.
Mhm.
Uh, and like you say, we have a lot of very talented people who develop some very cool solutions that never go anywhere because they forget that there is a whole entire business that you have to build out behind all that tech. There are people that you have to employ, there are people that you have to train, there are processes that you have to put in place. There's a whole lot that goes on that has nothing to do with this very cool or has doesn't necessarily have anything to do directly with the development of this very cool tech that you've built, and I think it's the inability to move from cool tech to sustainable business. I think somewhere in that journey is where a lot of people fall off.
yeah,
Building the tech is just one part of the puzzle, and in order to build impactful businesses, more people, more of these talented techies who are building these solutions have to start thinking about the business side of it from very early, thinking about what your revenue
yes,
streams are going to be. How are you
yes,
going to sustainably build this out? How are you going to make sure that this is profitable at whatever it costs you to run this service is less than what you're going to make off of it? And those questions need to be asked at the very beginning, even before you start to fall in love with whatever this cool thing is that you're building.
yep, yep. Yep. And we've said this before. And
Yep.
we actually said this when we had that Swaby episode.
Yep.
That was actually the point that we're trying to get across. Lots of people got that, but I think maybe some people didn't. That yeah, you have to. No matter what you call it, no matter what you're doing in it, at the end of the day, it's a business. And it's doubly true if you are looking for money from a bank, especially. I'm looking for money, bank or private equity, wherever, you're going to have to know this through and through. And not just know it. It's not just something you get somebody to help you with and you just memorize it and you go. You have to actually understand it. Many great ideas die because the person with the great idea can't rework that idea into financial terms that will make sense to not to an investor, a potential investor, a bank, a loan, somebody who might give you a loan. You need for your family. For me, my friends, when they come to me for business advice or talking about business or if I sit on a board and they're trying to put a business, especially in the early stage, it is all about how it makes sense financially. Just like money, I give the basic equation because you can start there. You don't have to be a numbers person. You don't have to be in finance. It's just revenue, which is money coming in, minus expenses, everything you have to spend on it, and what you have left after that is profit. And if that profit number is negative, then you need to rework your idea. And you also need to know little pieces. That's why I wanted money to go a little harder on so much is saying in terms of the details, because those little pieces are really where the business is. You said, and you see, you have to do the work, the thinking work, the great work that you want to, the personal work early in the morning. Because once people come in the office and the orders start coming in, go into what the real business is day to day, which is the actually a logistics business. So you have to handle a lot of the logistics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So understanding what your business actually is and what each step of your business is and what it will look like is key for anybody listening and planning or thinking to do the same thing. Yeah, I'm gonna put some ads on taxes in Jamaica. Okay, how are you going to get to the taxes? Yeah, I read the Gleaner, there are 10,000 taxis all over Jamaica. I hear you. How are you going to get the taxi man in Portland to put an ad on the back of his taxi that you gave him? Well, I sent it to him. You're going to send it to him. How do you know him? How do you get contact? That sort of thing. The thinking that I think doesn't go into it a lot of times, but a set of numbers will get put together. I get them all the time. I get stuff all the time with that, where you can tell that the person has thought a lot about how good the idea would be, but not how the actual execution or operation of the idea will work out. And I hate when they do that. And I hate when the next step is that, well, I expected you would do that. So I must figure out the business for them. But not that I have an issue doing that. It depends on the person and what they're doing and how I feel about them. But then I can serve as mentorship or
Right.
aid or board or whatever.
Everybody wants
But
that.
exactly.
Freedom.
But on that point, Monique, you have anybody who does help you? Anybody who aids with the mentorship?
Well, I would say yes. I would say yes. So there is a board that we have in place. It's a relatively new board. We assembled that, I think it was February of last year. But I have been able to get valuable insight from them, guidance from them. They're all experienced professionals in their respective fields. So that has been very useful to me, having a group of smart people who are interested in the development of the business, that you're able to bounce ideas off that can, give you some guidance and, even a little bit of tough love in terms of telling you what you need to what areas you need to pull up your socks in, what you need to be better at. And also, I think Sandra Glasgow has been somebody who, over the last couple of years, I've been also able to bounce things off, to be able to ask questions off in terms of how to proceed with particular ideas that we have or particular things that we want to get done, whether it might be securing additional funding or it might be launching a new product, that sort of thing. And for context, Sandra Glasgow is one of the founders of and the manager of First Angels, and First Angels is an angel investment network that has invested in QuickPlate.
Wow. So you see, every time I press you, we'll find out something else. Monique, talk to me about the journey, man. So when did First Angels invest?
This is
Because we've
this is
heard about.
relatively recent development. This was last year. So we started the conversation with First Angels year before last. But
Mm-hmm.
as anyone who is familiar with this kind of process would know, is something that takes several months. They have to do their due diligence, and you have to put a lot of documentation together, and they have to feel comfortable with the investment that they're making, and that's understandable. So that whole process took, let me see, I'd say from start to finish, maybe about 6 months, that entire process. And then the actual investment was made in February of last year.
Aha. And are you allowed to say how much?
Well, I don't think there's anything preventing me from saying how much it is, but I don't necessarily want to give an amount.
If you don't want it, that's fine. That's fine. That's what I was saying. That's what I wanted to know. But you also touch on some of the process. Tell the people some of the things that you had to get together for them, so they have an idea what it is. Because again, not only do you have a great company going, but you're also a case of, I would say, successful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not jinx it, but well, it's successful because it's running and it's growing. Successful angel investing locally, or I don't know if First Angels is just angels investing. What would they call your investment? That angel investment or more private equity?
Well, angel
Or
investment,
you,
it is. It's equity that they're taking in exchange for the investment that they've made. But I suppose it's the standard term for what they're doing is angel investing.
maybe not. I think there's like a difference between the two, and it's some.
Oh,
I mean, to me, them take a stake in your business and they're helping you along, right?
right.
Yeah. So it's
Which is not really unlike what VCs do just at a
venture level, at a venture
right,
fund. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So there are some
And I'm
similarities,
with you.
right?
Yeah, there's some to me. Well,
To meet our
you might not.
investors,
Yeah,
we just found a way to call this segment of it based on whatever the person is going for. I guess
yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's
Yeah, I
investments.
think they're primarily focused on helping early stage promising businesses secure just enough to get them to the next level where they are able to sustain themselves and able to start to really pursuing start to really pursue growth opportunities and that sort of thing. I think that's their main goal, helping promising relatively young
Entrepreneurs.
businesses to get to that point.
Yeah, I love hearing that, and I know. I mean, Sandra, big up Sandra Glasgow. She has come up on this. Yeah, about 2 or 3 times she's come up on this show. I know Tyrone mentioned her. Tyrone is coming to mind because I know she helped him, especially in his early years. She really has helped a lot of people. I know of, yeah, a whole heap of people. I mean, I'd love to have her on just to talk about how she sees Jamaica and watch the output of what she's been doing. But I like that. So you've actually gotten an actual venture capital investment for a company that has continued to grow, and you're continuing to grow it. And I'd say that you're probably at your most vibrant time now because you're expanding. You're across more than one parish now, and you're under a whole parish. The other thing I saw the other day was that you have a deal going, I think, with Visa.
Right,
Something about Visa. I got an email.
right. So between now and June 30, every time you
Okay.
pay on QuickPlate with your Visa card, you just need to enter a coupon code Visa free, and you get free delivery and no other processing fees. So all you're paying for is more or less the cost of the food,
and
and
that's Visa
Wow.
debit and
that's
Visa
on
credit, right?
every order. So if you want to order every single day and make use of this deal every single day,
Hmm.
that's perfectly fine. You're allowed to do that.
Wow. So yeah, well, then I asked, what was that? Then I just
That's
now.
Visa debit and Visa credit, right?
And that's both Visa debit and Visa credit cards.
Nice.
Wow. So from your card to Visa on it, you're good.
You're good to go. Yeah.
Wow, look at that free ad.
Yeah.
Look at the free ad, but that's literally, I want you to get the free ad. I want you to get that sort of push. So people, yeah, if you're listening to this and you want to order some food,
Yo,
QuickPlate is there. It's free. Yeah,
I mean,
and it's free.
yep, you tired of the cooking thing, you know. You've been
Yeah,
home for how long? I usually just walk across the road and buy from whatever cook shop. I'm pretty sure everybody tired of the
man.
cooking thing now.
Yeah,
You just sit at home, you place your order online.
Yep.
As I said, if you're using a Visa card, it's free. The delivery is free for until the end of this month.
Mm-hmm.
And you
end of
can have
June
it brought to you. It
2020.
doesn't get much more convenient than that.
It was not.
I thought, oh, wow, and what has the response to that been like?
Oh, it's been excellent. It has been excellent. I think I mean, a lot of the response has been coming from, in terms of orders, has been coming from our existing customers, but we've also seen a number of new customers coming since this offer started, and it just started last week, Thursday, I believe it was. So the response so far has been great, and I expect it to get better as more people hear about the offer.
Indeed.
That's yeah. I'm really, really, really happy to hear that. And then Visa, to hear that, like I know Visa and Mastercard both looking on the region and Jamaica as a new battleground. So we know that from from the things that we've reviewed, and to hear that a local company is benefiting from that is amazing, especially a tech company like yours. You have the online payment, though. How is that going? How was that? How hard was that to set up? I said that to you as somebody who is currently annoyed, and I have pretty smooth online payments, but I can still be annoyed by some of the banks and what they do. Like there's one bank that's currently blocking everybody who uses the card on my site for some reason, and I know that that's a hiccup. I know that's a pain point for a lot of local companies trying to be online. So how was that process for you
Absolutely.
getting
And,
online?
and if we're serious about driving e-commerce, then we also need to be serious about making access to these e-commerce facilities as easy and as seamless as possible for small business people.
Yeah.
So when we started out with Stripe, which,
Mm-hmm.
for those who don't know, is our overseas payment processor.
Yeah.
They set up with Stripe, and for people who follow me on Twitter, they'll probably hear me tell this story a million times. To set up on Stripe took me less than 24 hours. But
Yes. Stripe is very good.
That's
when
faster than a bank account.
came time for us to switch to a local payment processor, that
Mm-hmm.
process took 8 months.
Wow.
So we're talking about 24 hours versus 8 months, right? So, and my situation is not unique. My story is not unique. I've spoken to a number of other entrepreneurs who have online payments built into to their platforms, and their
Mm-hmm.
experiences were similar. 5 months, 6 months,
But
8
why?
year, you know.
Why?
There's a lot of back and forth. I think there's a lot of internal red tape on the side of the banks. A lot of I's that they have to dot and T's that they have to cross, and I don't think most of them have yet figured out how to satisfy whatever requirements they have to satisfy while minimizing the friction and the weight on the merchant side. And the fact that they've figured out how to do it, various services, various financial institutions have figured out how to do it in other parts of the world. It means it can be done here as well. But I think they need to be significant or more invested in making that happen in order to make the changes that they need to make on their end. But
Definitely.
it's gonna be critical. I heard Andrew Holness and Nigel Clark recently talking about the shift that we need to make to e-commerce and purchasing goods and services online and that sort of thing. But if the process for getting that set up is one that any small business owner is gonna undoubtedly find to be a daunting one, then the switch to that is gonna be very slow,
Yep.
very slow, and it's not gonna be what we want it to be.
Boy, uh, I'm silent on that because I have not been silent in the past. For years, I've been arguing about this, and I actually use it as one of the signposts to see when people in tech, local tech, are actually serious about what they're doing. Um, there's a story I tell sometimes of one person who was in tech for a long time and didn't even know this, and he said to me that, oh, they've never considered actually getting money back from anything they've done online. They don't know that how difficult it is. When I hear you say it took you 8 months and other people take them 5 months, I'm so surprised because I didn't know that it was down to 8 months. 8 months to me sounds short. I'm actually still waiting on a call back from 2012.
Oh, wow.
And the callback don't come yet. And my personal view, and I'm open with it, is that the banks do it deliberately. It is a deliberate move because if you open up online banking, if you open up the online space, um, to local companies, they are now competing with people on the internet. And multi-million, some of them billion-dollar companies in the US and other advanced countries, where you can't help imagine you have two options in front of you, one a local bank and the other one something overseas or something online. And the online, like she says, is pretty much like Stripe, less than 24 hours. If so long, you can get it done in an hour, and that might still be long because I don't know if it's like sign up at any website as long as you have information in front of you, blah blah blah. And on the other hand, you call a local bank and, oh, you have to come into a branch. So you know whatever, anything you have to come into the branch where you're losing a day immediately. And you might not get what you want done that day. And another thing that I haven't heard you touch on, money, is the fees. It's actually very expensive, fee-wise, I think. That can you say that, Monique? I mean, I don't. You don't have to tell people your business or your money, but percentage-wise, using
Well,
a local
you
processor.
know, to be honest, there isn't that much difference because using Stripe as an overseas merchant
Yeah.
actually gets pretty expensive because their base rate is 2.9%.
Mm-hmm.
But what a lot of people don't know unless they actually sign up as an overseas merchant is that there is a 1% conversion fee if your
Mm-hmm.
prices are listed in anything other than their main currency. And then
Yep.
there is another 1% that you pay whenever international cards are used. So in essence, you're paying 4.9% on every transaction to Stripe,
Yep.
more or less, which is not
I,
far off from what the banks are gonna ask of
yeah.
you anyway.
And then also to transfer the money back to your local account in Jamaica, there's also
Absolutely, absolutely. So that was one thing that
heavy
hit us
charges.
hard. So you remember at the
Mm-hmm.
beginning, I started talking about the fact that you underestimate your expenses.
Mm-hmm.
So in that first year, we spent $1 million just wiring money back into Jamaica,
Wow.
Yeah. And that's normal. That's small.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you know it was, and then the thing is that we realized 4 or 5 months into it that that wasn't gonna cut it. But
Mm-hmm.
like I said, the process of switching to the local bank took 8 months, so we had to suck it up for the rest of that year. You know, even though we knew that this was terribly unsustainable and a terrible waste of money.
Yeah, man. I think you lose about 11% on each transfer. Yeah. So you can do the math.
That margin. Yeah.
And then there's what you lose on conversion as well. Because
Yes, because they set the
you
rate.
set your prices in Jamaican dollars, and then in order to
Mm-hmm.
send the money to the US bank account, they convert that back into US, and then that
Mm-hmm.
comes to Jamaica, and you convert it back into Jamaican. And by the time you work it out, you've lost quite a bit.
Yep. So that's coming straight from your margin. So imagine you're running all 20. I mean, tech tends to have a lot higher margins, but imagine you're running a business with 20% margins
Mm,
and you lose 11 or 12% of the margin just from fees.
mhm. Just like
And that's not necessarily net profit
collecting
margin. That's gross.
money.
Exactly. Gross profit margin. If you run the business properly, then you might have 25% of that. What's left? 9, 20%. So 11 out. You have 9% left, and the 25% of that goes to the government. So maybe let's say 2 out of the 9. So you have 7% left. And then imagine if you did not consider all of this before you start. So it's a real thing. It's a real painful thing.
Right.
And I put it all on the banks. Yeah, it's all on the banks, and it has been on the banks for a long time. It's a deliberate thing. As far as I'm concerned, it's a deliberate thing that they did, and time has come now where they just can't keep doing it. But they don't have any great pressure. Other than maybe people like me just balling on Twitter, and that's very ignorable. If, however, more people start to do it, not ball on Twitter, actually try to access the service and see it, I think then it will come out. And I think because a lot of people don't even know about the problem, so they don't even know there is a problem. So if you see somebody falling about it, yeah, man, what a bank thing, that transfer, no, some numbers thing, and they just brush it off because you don't get the support because people don't know. So
That means you
yeah,
have
when you exactly. Well, the second I delved into it, these years ago, I delved into it with all the major banks in Jamaica. All of them do it. All of them restrict it. All of them, I think, have their own reasons for restricting it. But at the end of the day, it comes back down to if you open that gateway, you have to fight with people who are a lot fitter than you are. Yeah, so they don't do it. That's what I call the banking walls. That's why they don't fall. It's a deliberate thing that's done. Getting money back into Jamaica, there's a wall there deliberately. So it's unless you're going to use the usual Western Union route. No, and I'm sure somebody's listening to this and they're like, no, but I have a friend and I get my money through my PayPal and yeah. Try get it into your bank account and see what happens. Try send from your PayPal to your bank account. The best I think you can do is to get that check from PayPal, and then PayPal gonna tell you 5 weeks. Well, PayPal not gonna tell you 5 weeks. PayPal take them time when I'm sending you the check. The bank gonna tell you is an overseas check. 5 weeks for it to clear, sometimes 10. And you're just going to wait there. And you can't run a business off a 5 week payment schedule unless you have that kind of business, but most people don't. So it's a hell of a thing. That's why I wanted you to talk about that more, because it's a pain point that I think more people need to know about.
Right, but like you said, it's not something that is going to directly affect a wide cross section of people enough for them to immediately care.
Yes.
Because unless you are a small business that is deeply interested in setting up online payments, you're not even going to get far enough along in the process out here for you to realize just how tedious it is.
Exactly. But on the flip side, thanks to coronavirus, all the small businesses now have to try and set up online payments and be online. They
You
have to know.
One of the things that we did recently was to launch another service called QuickCart, right?
Ah,
Um,
wow. We were waiting to segue into that, but go ahead.
do it.
Basically, what QuickCart is us doing for merchants of just about any kind what we did for restaurants. So what we did for restaurants was to allow them to basically flip a switch and have their own online ordering system and have access to an entire fleet of drivers and riders just waiting to deliver their product to the customer. What we've done with QuickCart is to open that up to other kinds of merchants. So on the face of it, QuickCart is I think we're at this point we're communicating it as or marketing it as a grocery and more type service. But it's the potential that it has goes far beyond grocery. So right now we have Fontana on board. We have Circle K, which is a chain of convenience stores.
Yeah, we just mentioned on a recent episode.
Yeah. I think the last episode or the one before. That's yeah.
Tomorrow we have Purity Bakery coming on. So, you can get all the Miss Birdie goodies and all that stuff. And we have other merchants on board. And in the same way that those kinds of merchants have been able to come on board, there's nothing stopping an electronics store from doing the same. There's nothing stopping somebody with an art and craft type store from doing the same. So what we're doing with a platform like QuickCart is making it easy for people to start or for businesses to start selling their goods
Mm-hmm.
and services online.
So
So
this is the real Amazon of Jamaica, Randy.
we know there's
Ah, yes, actually,
associated
yes.
with getting online and dealing with the banks and the back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
But what we are giving them is a solution that basically allows them to be online in 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Give us
In
inventory.
24 hours.
It depends on how, of course, it depends on how expansive your inventory is. If you have a lot of items,
Yeah,
of course, it's gonna take
yeah, but
that. But
tell us about that.
if you have if what you have is if you have a small list or a relatively small list, you can be online in 24 hours from the time when you sign the contract and send it to us along with your inventory. And we can turn that around in 24 hours and then have you online and up and running the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So compare that with trying to do the whole setup process on your own
Mhm.
and
Yep. And then you have to manage your own
hire,
delivery.
you have to hire
Yep.
a developer to do the integration with the bank, and then
Mhm.
after that you have to hire your own delivery people and trying to manage the logistics surrounding the whole thing. When you can
Mhm.
just sign up with QuickCart and have us do what we do best, so that you
Yep.
can do what you do
Wow.
best.
So essentially an offer to existing or potential businesses, but they have to send you the items.
Right.
You
So
said.
basically, they would naturally have to share their inventory list with us. And,
Mhm.
we would do the necessary updates and uploads and so forth just to make sure that everything is in order and all the prices are listed correctly and all the images match the item description and that sort of thing. And
And
then,
you pick up
Wow, and this.
oh,
from the locations, right? So you
right,
go to the actual place and bring it to the people.
right. So at this moment, it's hyper local
Mhm.
in the sense that um, uh, Kingston-based merchants would only be able to do deliveries within Kingston and St. Andrew. At this time, that's what it is. It's a hyper-local logistics solution. Uh, whether we'll go beyond that in the future, who knows?
Well, So are you going to go beyond that in the future? Are you planning to?
Well, this is something that we launched 2 months ago. So we launched it. It's been in the pipeline since last year, but we sped up the process in terms of getting it to market because of what was going on at this time. We felt like this is something that people would have use for, and this was a good time to push it out. But
Mhm.
I think we're still fleshing out all that it could become. So we have a very solid idea, short term, what this will look like and the steps that we're gonna take to open it up to the market some more. But it has massive potential and we are open to exploring all the different things that this platform could become.
What was the first place you want to go? What's somebody who is listening to this? Who's the perfect person listening to this right now? And you're like, that's the person I want to contact me because I'm interested in helping them or going in their area or whatever.
We grocery is something that is always in demand and in regular demand. So, if for people who own small supermarkets and they want to be able to provide a delivery option, an online payment and delivery option for their customers. This is for them. You own a small pharmacy. You want to be able to quickly get online and get a logistics or delivery solution in place. This is for you as well. If pretty much if you have I think it's well suited to brick and mortar stores, existing brick and mortar stores. But if you have been thinking about getting online and you have customers who've been asking you for an easier way to get access to your product, then
Mhm.
this is QuickCart is something that I think you would do well to look into.
Okay. How can they get to you for that? How do you what's the contact method to that if somebody's interested?
Right. So there is a separate microsite, partner with quickplate.com, where
Mm-hmm.
merchants who are interested in getting on board with either QuickPlate or QuickCat can fill out a form, and then our partner relations manager will reach out to them in short.
Oh wow. So partner with quickplate.com.
Partner with quickplate.com.
Hurry up and
Okay,
get
and
some
that's how
AirPods people on it, because that
yeah,
would be
yeah.
that would be
But
key.
you know what yeah, that would be great. But you know what else I think about all the time that that is you are empowering somebody who might have just an IG business. You might actually help make
Yes.
yeah, you might actually help make t-shirt. Everybody and them cousin always think of, oh, I have a t-shirt design and then become a t-shirt business. You might actually be able to make it
Make it up.
um
Make them actual.
viable again.
Yep.
Yeah, viable again.
DM for prices.
Yeah, right. God, I hate DM for prices. I'm glad that QuickPlate is killing that. So QuickPlate is
Yep.
killing DM for prices. That's probably that's the episode name, killing DM for prices. um, but are you okay telling us the pricing on that though? Is there a
Um,
flat pricing or
well,
a general?
in terms of on the merchant side,
Yes,
Yep.
the yes.
well, we'd rather have them contact us, and then
Hmm.
we'll share all the details in terms of what that might look like for them.
All right. Cool.
So it is dependent on because it's dependent on what they are doing and how often you have to move and all of that, right?
Right. So there is a commission based fee structure.
Oh.
Mhm.
So it's basically we've basically done it like that to ensure that our goals are aligned with the goals of our merchants. So if you don't sell
Mhm.
anything, we don't make any money either.
There we go.
We make a small percentage of each sale.
Based on
Right.
no, hold on, then you don't have no complication. So wait, after I just say we're killing DM for prices, you tell me for telling people for DM for prices.
Right.
Um,
It's a pretty simple pricing structure. So once I go to partner with quickplay.com and they fill out that very short form, somebody from our end will reach out to them, and then we can have the full discussion around what your needs are and subsequently what it would cost you to get on the platform.
oh wow. But you don't want to tell anybody what it is. I look at me thinking about it as an option. I forgot I'm gonna fill it up myself. So it's partner with quickplate.com. People,
Okay.
when you go there, it is very simple. Name, email, phone, and message. In the message, say that you heard it on earnings season, please. Just tell us if you can know where you heard it from. But I'm happy that I'm really happy that you're doing this. And of course, that I was saying that with quick cart in mind, but this is also the site if you go to
Right,
if you are in one of those areas that you want QuickPlate to partner with you also. If you have a food business.
right, right. So whether it is QuickPlate, the original that you want to get on board with, or you want to get on board with the new kid on the block with cart, then you
Hmm.
fill out. You go to partnerwithquickplay.com. Fill out, like you said, it's very short form just to get some contact details so that we can reach out to you, and then we'll take it from
Hmm.
there.
Excellent. And anybody extra lazy, the link is also in the
Show notes.
show notes. Yeah. So partner with quickplate.com. So you've done, although at this point I'm wondering what the heck you might have skipped. You never like win a prime minister award or something in the last 4 years.
No.
Not yet. Not
So, not yet. But you've grown your business to the point now where you're partnering. I mean, people like Visa, international company like Visa, is looking to partner with you, and they're actually partnering with you. And coronavirus has you are part of the silver lining. I'm really happy to hear you benefiting from it and showing a lot of companies the way that you can go online. So every time you see you doing the thing where you step up, but you're also helping other people to come up with you. I really like that. I'm really proud of that. I don't know why I feel so proud, but I'm really happy, Monique, to hear that you're doing this. And I was going to ask what's next, but you've told us what's next.
Mm-hmm.
It's
And
QuickPlate.
so
And
strong. It's like it sounds like what everybody else fantasizes about that they're doing, and you're actually doing it
yes,
the right way.
So
yes.
congratulations on that.
Thank
Yeah, I really congratulate you on that. And the fact that you're speaking about the numbers, and I know that you're, so I know that you're working with First Angels and you have a board. You never told us who's on your board, or you don't want to tell that either.
Oh well, I mean, I don't mind sharing. We have
Mm-hmm.
Reese Campbell as the chairman. We have
Mm-hmm.
Aditi Man. We have Arvel Grant, and we have Karen Vaz. So like I said, all very experienced people in their respective fields.
Mm-hmm. Nice, nice. I like that. And as you mentioned before, that you can look to them for guidance, and not just in the business sense, but even when you're just looking for mentorship to run an idea by it, to see how something might sound or look or whatever. I'm really, really happy to hear that. And you're blowing up. I don't know how much more we can say, though, Monique, other than obviously the inevitable question. Because these days everybody want to know, So when do we get to put some money in? When is the IPO?
Well, I mean, it is something that could very well happen at some point in the future. It is we don't have immediate plans for an IPO, but as we grow and as we expand, I am more and more inclined to think that it is a likelihood. It is something that is likely to happen at some point in the future. But as I
Wow.
said, no immediate plan.
Wow. So Danai at the start gave us the Justin Trudeau pregnant pause. And you at the end gave us the Justin Trudeau politician's answer, which is just something that we're considering in the near term. I mean, I am good at analyzing companies, obviously. I analyze yours. I think you know what? I think you're very maybe I'll give you my analysis of your company, a full analysis of your company off air. But I will say that I do like the company. I do think
Mhm.
that there are great things in
In store.
yeah, great things in store for it, and great things already happening for it. And with you looking at the market as an option, that's all I need to hear. And I know that if you're looking at it in time, that's all I needed to hear. Strike while the iron's hot. That's what I tell you here. Much like I said to Laren in his episode, I am more than willing and ready to invest some money in your company, because I think I see the value in it. So whenever you're ready, I'm sure I'm not the only person who is more than willing to do it. And especially a CEO that doesn't sound scattered. So you're very zen. You are very zen. You could have coached Michael Jordan. You're so zen. I don't know. I don't know if this is a common thing, or maybe you know what? Maybe they're right. We do need more women in leadership positions in companies, because if you can bring this to any other company, boy, yeah. When everything around is going to chaos, you uh, just deliver the sushi to the apartment. Randy's hungry.
Yeah, because
Oh wow.
his bougie cuisine.
Right here, money. Well, we've spoken about the difficulties in the job and the start for the job. But tell me what are some of the fun parts? Some of the fun parts of your job. What do you still enjoy doing?
I think my favorite parts of the business surround technology and marketing. Both
Mm,
of them are, you could basically say both of them are my first loves. More so technology. But also I spent a number of years out of my career in marketing space as well. So it actually excites me when we have an idea or something that can be built out on the back end that can automate a process that we were previously doing manually, or
mm,
something that can significantly increase our efficiency in a particular area. I get excited about that. I get excited about new features, not just not just for the sake of having fancy bells and whistles, but when I see something that can dramatically improve the customer experience or dramatically improve the way we carry out processes on the back end, that excites me. Um, the creative part of my mind is also excited by the marketing part of it. When we put our campaigns or micro campaigns together, and we give us an opportunity to be creative in her messaging, in the designs that we use to convey, our brand in the way that we want people to see and receive the brand. I get excited about that side of things as well. How do they feel after every interaction with a delivery driver, every interaction with the customer service rep who picks up the phone, every interaction with somebody who responds to an email that you send in. How do you feel? And we want to make sure that we get closer and closer to having 100%. I mean, there'll always be things that go wrong occasionally, but we want to get as close to 100% as possible in terms of customer satisfaction, in terms of people feeling good about using us. And that is very important to me, and it's something that I try to have built into the culture of the business, that customer focused behavior.
Mhm. And you then then know, I'm just wondering definitely how are you so zen? Because my I know that that's the hardest part of the company, dealing with customers, because you have to make sure every single person feels like they're number one, because in that moment they are number one. The second I spend my money, you can't tell me say you had a rough time. You should have taken the money. And I would say I guess I'm back because I have used QuickPlate in the past, and it has always been great service. And even if something go wrong, there's something you see a very quick response from the company, or even from just the riders. There's obviously a mandate coming from the top, like you said, in terms of how customers should be treated. I'm glad that you model that into the business consistently. And I know you're not afraid to go hands on. I've seen you tweeting about you having to hit the road when things are rough. If it means that you have to go out there yourself,
Yeah, I've,
you do it.
I've never been afraid of that. There is no part of the business that I haven't touched personally, that I haven't worked in personally. Um, I've I've done deliveries on bikes on busy Friday afternoon. Of course, as much as I would love to do that all the time, if I'm doing that all the time, it means that I'm not working on other areas of the business. So of course, you
That's true.
gradually have to step back from the day-to-day involvement and move gradually into a role where you're leading strategic planning and the whatever tactics are needed to execute on whatever plans that we have and that sort of thing. But I've never
Mhm.
been afraid to work in just about any part of the business. Anything that is required to keep the business running smoothly, anything that is required to help a customer to have to have a good experience at the end of the purchase, at the end of them making that order. I'm willing to do it.
She's right.
And yeah, well, boy, Monique, I mean, I'm really happy that you've told us this. You actually surprised me so much at the start that you knock all of my, you knocked me off the path that I wanted to carry us down. But we got
She
all
got
the,
well, didn't she?
yeah, she recovered quite well. I should say I would have to recover because she has been quite on the ball from the start.
Mhm.
We'll ask you, however, the question that we ask all our guests, especially CEOs. So I ask you to run the earnings season gauntlet. Um, and the earnings season gauntlet is, I've done it in so long. Then is it one or two companies?
It's usually two.
Two.
Yeah.
All right, two companies that you believe will have an increase in share price over the next year. I give you a whole a year. And of course, the important thing is the why, not necessarily just the companies, but the why. And don't worry, it's okay if you don't get it wrong. Nobody not going to come and lock you up for getting it wrong. And we know you're not a financial advisor. Neither am I, neither is Danai. The show is not financial advice. But it's just an idea of seeing how different people see the market and new people, regular people see the market. So fret not. So which two companies you have in mind and why?
Well, without calling the name of a company that has more or less now become almost a direct competitor, I would say that I think any that is in the business of selling convenience and coupling that with access to e-commerce facilities
Mm-hmm.
stands a chance of doing much better now than they were doing previously. And that includes logistics companies that allow for on-demand delivery of, of whether it be food or
Anything.
grocery or anything of that kind. I think businesses like that are
Mm-hmm.
well positioned to to do very well in the coming months and the coming year if they organize themselves well and play the cards right. Outside
Mm.
of my immediate space, I would, I mean, I think a safe bet, and this has nothing to do with the current crisis that we're dealing with, but I think NCB is always a safe bet. Um, you know, I mean, despite whatever thoughts I have about the their rate of innovation and you know
Mm-hmm.
and so forth. I like the fact that they have solid, consistent performance. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I like the fact that they seem to be very aware of the fact that disruption is inevitable and they're trying to be on the
On the ball.
right. So, you know, even things like their partnership with Quisk, you know, that I mean, sure, Quisk is still finding its footing, but even that alone I see as them thinking ahead and realizing
Mm-hmm.
that there will come a time when banking won't look the way it looks now, and they
Yes.
need to be ahead of that.
Yeah. Yeah, they are actually very very good at that and looking ahead and and at their size, what they're really good at is leading that effort, right? They act in many ways have to respect them because they act like a smaller organization than they are. Sometimes you see the things that they do act sometimes like they're smaller, and then other times they act like the giants that they are because giants have to act like giants at times. Yeah, I'd have to love them,
I love
but
the
I
way
do.
you answer that question.
Both answers
Yeah,
were given very smoothly and with good reasoning.
yeah. Yeah, probably prepped also, but I don't mind that. Preparation is always good. You put me on, you put me in a little bit of a squeeze space now though, because you say you don't want mention any
But you
competitors.
did by not doing it. You know,
Yeah, but because that was actually something I wanted to ask about because I think it major that here you are 4 years in, without the war chest that a company, a larger company might have, and you have competitors that have those war chests.
mm,
So I think that is part of why I'm impressed. And as far as I'm concerned, in the current, what do you call it? I would call it the delivery market, but you call it on-demand delivery.
On the band delivery, right?
In the local on-demand delivery space, I think of you as king. Well, apologies, queen. I think of you. I think of your company as being the leader in that space. Certainly top of mind.
mm,
Certainly top of mind for consumers. You know, if you want food and we don't get it, is order QuickPlate.
mm.
I've even heard conversations where people say order from QuickPlate, and I guess maybe something was happening or it wasn't available at the moment or whatever. And they're like, well, no, order from the other QuickPlate. Even when they speak about the competitors, they say the other QuickPlate.
They think of the service itself as being QuickPlate,
Yes.
whether it is the other person. So,
Oh, wow. Like
Yeah.
when they say when Google something, regardless of which search engine you're planning to use.
Yes. Although, of
mhm.
course, planning to use Google. but, but yeah, exactly like that. Like how Jamaicans say what things to say, like Pepsi. Sell me a Pepsi.
Campus.
Yeah, Pampers, Pepsi, Scotch Brite.
Right, right. You
Yeah,
know,
Fenzi.
that's where we hope to eventually be. We hope to eventually be the top of mind for throughout Jamaica as it relates to the category of services that we provide
Keep
and
doing what you're doing. You'll get there.
working towards.
Yeah, why? Yeah, I agree with that. Night. So yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. I mean, you're already there, but like I said, for the whole of Jamaica, and it's not. What is this service that you hear? It's when is QuickPlate coming to?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, and wow, I think I'd ask you this once. I ran into you at a coffee place, but whenever you're ready to expand heavily with the footprint, the delivery footprint, because I know a lot of people care about Spain. People like me
All
care
right.
about getting delivery, and willing to put it there. Repeat that, Monique. Sorry, I didn't catch
I'll
that.
definitely bear that in mind.
Please,
Please.
please do, please, because it sounds like I'm saying it lightly, but I'm not. I never am. Yeah,
I think they're bothered by the. But I think everybody else bothered by the thing there. The no cooking thing. I don't know. I'm bothered by the options.
yeah,
So,
yeah. Because, yeah, once you're outside of Kingston and the food options get really, yeah, your options are the kitchen or whatever is on the tray outside. If you don't have the tray outside, you get joke. So, with that in mind, I just want to thank you, Monique, for doing this for us.
definitely.
People check out,
Oh,
yeah, check out QuickPlate.
pleasure.
Definitely.
My pleasure. I mean, it was great being on the program with you both.
Yeah, well, I mean, my pleasure also trying to get you on, and happy to have you. And I hope to actually bring you back, especially definitely want to bring you back when you're doing your IPO roadshow in in a year or two.
Speaking that one into being, Randy, and like I said, it's a possibility. This is a possibility.
Yeah, that's why I'm speaking it into being. That's what I do still. That's what I do. Yeah, I'm very good at analyzing business, and I'm very good at predicting businesses and how people and businesses. Well, it's the same thing. How people move. Because businesses are just people running things together. Yeah. Really, really happy to hear this, Monique. I'm happy to hear people check them out. If you listen to this in the month of June 2020, remember she has a special going where, thanks to the people who have partnered with her for June Visa, she's getting the food to you for free. You don't pay for it. You just pay for your food. No delivery costs, no
No
processing
processing fees.
fee. Did I get that right, Monique? It's no processing fee?
Right. No delivery fee, no other processing fees. Just myquickplate.com. When you're on the checkout page, you enter the coupon code Visa free. That's it. No delivery, no other processing fees. And it goes right up
There,
June 30.
there we go. And if you are a small business looking to get online, Monique can help you with
You.
yeah. Again, with partner with quickplate.com. Go there, fill out the form, say in the notes that you heard it on earnings season. And yeah, see if they can help you out. And I say it, although she never said it, I say it, as far as I'm seeing it, just means that it's a logistics business. So if you know you have something in your yard, whatever it is, you have some lamp you make and you want to sell them,
Here you are.
partner with quickplate.com, see if they'll take you on, see what the rates are, and yeah, you can actually have your internet business run out of your
Trying to
house.
make it how we see.
Yeah, there we go. That's not a light thing. Thank you very much again, Monique. And I will wrap it here. I'll say I am Randy at RTU on Twitter.
And then I had to eat then on Twitter. No pause this time.
Right? And this has been this week's earnings season. Thank you very much, guys.
All right, guys. Big up.
I don't think you can, having an opportunity to ride either on the front or the back or in the middle of someone else's bus doesn't dignify you. When you have your own bus, then you have dignity. When you have your own school, you have dignity. When you have your own country, you have dignity. When you have something of your own, you have dignity. But whenever you are begging for a chance to participate in that which belongs to someone else, or use that which belongs to someone else on an equal basis with the owner, that's not dignity, that's ignorance.
Earnings season, bro.